Banker's algorithm. So in the operating system, Banker's algorithm is used as a deadlock avoidance technique for handling the deadlock situation that arises in the operating system. So this Banker's algorithm is developed by the DJ Costra, and it was developed for helping in the banking sector for resource allocation to various uses and various sectors. So in the banking sector, resource is the money. So money can be allocated to different uses. Suppose for some planning, for loans, and different types of loans are there, and for some other areas. So this allocation of budget must be the money should be like that. There should not occur any shortage of the cash in the bank, so that bank can properly can function. So it is used there. Same thing in the operating system. This banker's algorithm is used for resource allocation to the processes. Okay, so in the resource allocation graph, this can be used for detecting the deadlock in the operating system. It happens in this case we can check the cycle. If it is there, then we can say there is a chance of deadlock in the resource allocation graph. Okay, and it is applicable, and the cycle condition, if you found, this is necessary and sufficient condition to check the deadlock condition in the operating system. But if the instances are not single, means the resource type having the multiple instances or multiple copies of the resources, then what will happen in those cases? This cannot be a sufficient and the sufficient condition to detect the deadlock in the system. So for that we use the banker's algorithm in case of the multiple instances. So this can be used. So banker's algorithm used to avoid deadlock and allocate resources safely to each processes in the computer system, and it is developed by the DJ Costra. Okay, so it checks for the safety by simulating the allocation allocation for predefined maximum possible number of all resources. Then it makes an S state, that is a safe state check, to test for possible activities before deciding the whether allocation should be allowed to continue or not. So this is the basic introduction about that. So the banker's algorithm, how we use here, so in that cases we have the 4 data structure. So that in algorithm of bankers, so we can say 4 data structure. So first one is the, we can say here, the available. Next one is the max, as you are seeing here, and the next one is the allocation, and after allocation we have the need. So these are the 4 data structures that is related to our banker's algorithm. So this is the data structure that is used, and how the explanation is here. So to n and m, this is a variable. We have the number of processes and number of processes and number of resource types. So available vector is the length of m, means m number of resources are there, m type of resources are there, then we can say the vector of length n. If available j is equal to k, means k is the k instances of resources of type rj. Rj is the resource type. Say for example printer. Printer is a resource type, and if it is having the 5 copies in the system, then means 5 instances are there. So we, and if resources are A, B, C means 3, then we can say the vector length is M means 3. Then max is a n minus n cross m matrix. If max ij, I represent to the process and j represents to the resource type. So if ith process for the rj type resource, they need maximum k number of instances of the resource. Okay, so allocation means it is also n cross m matrix, where the resources for process like pi, the process j types of resources are allocated, that counting is the key. So here need matrix we can see here. So need matrix can be calculated as the requirement, how much more resources, additional resources are required by the process pi for a particular resource j. So this can be calculated as this need matrix, need ij is equal to max ij and allocation ij. So what is I and j? I and j are, I represent to the process pi, j r, rj means j type of resource, and similarly for maximum and allocation. So we can get the what is the now need. Okay, so now safety algorithm, how we can apply this to find out this the safe sequence, whether the condition is safe or not for after allocating the resources. So this simulation we can see here. Here we are having two vectors, work and finish. Okay, and work is of m length and n is the finish. So we can initialize this work with the available means number of resources available. Next finish is the another vector for ith process. I is equal to 0, it varies from 0 to n minus 1 for every processes. So what we have to do, next step is the find I such that both these vectors means the finish I is equal to false, means work not yet completed, and the need I is less than or equal to work. So whatever work means available, whatever resources are available, with that need must be less than or equal to. Okay, so if no such I exists, then we have to go to the 4, means I is not there, means finish I is equal to now it is completed. Then what we can do here, we can go for this one. So if step 4 means finish I is equal to true for all I, then the system is in a safe state, no problem. If it is not the case, then we have to come to the third step, and we'll see here what is that. We will update this work is equal to work plus allocation. Okay, and finish I is equal to will make true, and then we go to the step 2, and we'll check for I is equal to we have completed for 0, then we'll go for 1, 2, 3 for all, we will get this information. So like this we can find out the system is in a safe state or not. So we can get like this by the Banker's algorithm. So the next one is the resource allocation algorithm. Now we are going to allocate the resources here with this. So request means the request for the process, request vector for process pi is the representation. Then if request I means process I request the j type resource in the number of k instances, then the same thing is here. And if request is less than for particular process, if the request for the resource is less than the need I for that particular, then we have to go to the step 2. We will check here whether the availability is there or not. If availability is there, availability of the resource is there for I, then we can go for the step 3 here, and here we will update all the variables. Okay, all these values. So available, because if you are going to give the assign the resources requested by the process I, then whatever available resources are there, from that it will be directed. Suppose 5 resources are available, then 3 requested by some process, then 5 minus 3, now availability will be only 2. So that's why we have to update this available, because next time another process will check for that request for the resources, then we will check whether availability is there or not. Now the allocation, so whatever you have requested, now you are allocated. So now allocation will increase. So allocation I, previously it was allocated, suppose one resource was already allocated for a particular process, and whatever requested, it has requested for 3, so now it is given. So 3 plus 1, now the allocation is now increased. So now it will become 3 plus 1 means 4, it will be 4. Okay, so this is the allocation. Now need we can update need minus request I. So whatever means in the beginning it was having the 4 is the 2 is the need, and the request is whatever he has requested you satisfy, then you can update the value like this one. Okay, so if is safe, the state is safe, then the resources are allocated to process PI. If it is not, then the PI has to wait for the time for some time, so that other process may release the resources and resource may be available, then this can proceed for that one. If it is safe, then it will start, otherwise will stop that one. So we can check one example, very good example is here for that Banker's algorithm. We can understand by this. We have the 5 processes, and we have the this ranges from 5 process from 0 to 4, 0 to P4. And here we can see here 3 instances of A type, B type, C types, and their counting is 10, 5 and 7. So we can see also this A, you can rename it A belongs to printer, A belongs to printer, and what B? B belongs to suppose any other resource, that is scanner, and the C we can say is the webcam. So 3 resources are types are there, and their counting is their availability 10 instance and 5 instance and 7 instance is there. So we can see here for particular time T instance means processes are running, and what is happening here? Here we have the 0 1 0 is the allocation. So in the Banker's algorithm, for avoidance purpose, the resources are already requirement of the maximum resources are already informed to the process or to the operating system. Okay, so this is the a priori information, or you can say the advanced information that we give to the operating system, so that it can decide whether the system is in safe state or not, so that it can avoid the situation. So we can see here it has declared its needs, maximum needs, all the processes for A, B, C, all the types of resources. So you can see here we have the P0, P1, P2, P3, P4. These 5 processes are there. Okay, in that 5 processes we have 0 1 0, 2 0 0, 3 0 2, 2 1 2, 2 1 1 and 0 0 2. These are the already allocated resources. Means while running the process they have acquired some resources, but maximum need to complete this task is 5 3 4 7 5 3, means A type 7, B type 5 and C type 3, and only it is holding the B type 1 resource. Okay, so for that it requires 7 A type, and already 1 it is keeping, so 4 B type and 3 C type. And coming to this section, we have the available, means A, B, C are the resources, and these are available in countings 3 3 2. This is availability. Availability means this allocation already done. Some of the resources left, they are free, they are not allocated to any resource, any process. Now our job is to allocate these resources to any of the processes, so that that sequence may lead to no deadlock. So next what we are going to do, we have to calculate the need for each and every process. If we have calculated the need, then we will see which is having the minimum need, and for that these available resources can be allocated. So let's go ahead and we'll see here the calculation is already done. We can perform this calculation by this formula, max minus allocation. So we'll see here how this is done. If we see this one, so we take this maximum and this variable allocation. So we'll subtract from maximum, okay, to the allocation. You can check here what is the maximum need. This is the 7, 5 and 3, okay, these instances, and allocation is 0, 1 and 0. If we subtract the corresponding resources, then we will get 7 minus 0, it's the 7, 5 minus 1, it's the 4, and 3 minus 0, it's the 3. So we can say it is, this value is matching here. So like this, for all we can calculate the need matrix. After need matrix we have calculated, then we can see here the requirement, whose requirement is less than or equal to the available. So this requirement cannot be fulfilled because A type only available 3 and is requesting the 7. So we can leave this condition, not checking this one. For P1 we can see requirement is 1, 2, 2. For A type 1, B type 2 and C type resource is 2. So this can easily be fulfilled. So how we can see here, because after allocation of one of A type to of B type, C of 2 types, we will get how much resource is still available, 1, 2, 2. So we will get 2 here, 1 and here 0. So 2, 1, 0 resource still will be there if we allocate this to the process P1. So our first process that is in the safe state we can start is the P1. So if you have allocated P1 this much of resources to the process this P1, then we are left with 210 resource still it is there. Okay, so after that what will happen, you have allocated this much resource 1, 2, 2 and the process has started and it has finished the work. So after ending its work it will release the resources. So those resources will be free now. So these resources will come here, 3, 2 and 2. So we can add up these to update the availability as per the formula. 2, 1 is the 3 and this 5. So now my availability of resource in the system in place of 3, 3, 2, now it's the 5, 3, 2. So this much resources are available now. Now we have to check which process can complete with these available resources. So if we come for this P2, so P2 requires A type 6 instances. So and we have the 5 only. So this request cannot be satisfied. So what we will do, we will go to the next. We will check their P3. So in the P3 if we check the A type requires 0. So no problem. So still 5 resources will be here. And after that 1, if we assign this 1, so 3 minus 1 we will get 2 and 2 minus 1 we will get 1. So this much of resources still will be available if we assign this one to P3. So P3 will complete its task and after that the how many resources, this much resources will be free. So 2, 2 and 2. So how much we will get here, 3, 4 and 7. So 7, 4, 3 resources are not now available. So next process we can proceed P3 and after that we have the P4. In the P4 we can say these resources are available, no problem. This requirement is lesser than the available resources. So what we can do, we can ask P4 to continue. So now P4 will continue. Okay, so after P4 has completed, we can give the chance to P2 and in the return we can give to the P0. So these resources will be like this allocated, and we have found this sequence of processes for execution which is satisfying the criteria of the safety condition. So this is called the safe condition. There may also be other processes, other way also to allocate these resources in other sequences, but this is one of that which is satisfying the criteria, so we can go with this for Banker's algorithm. So like this, the cache is allocated for the different purposes or different uses, and in such a manner there is the cache is allocated so that the cache should not shortfall. So in this way process we have to take care of the sequence for while allocating the resources so that no deadlock should occur. So we are avoiding here this Banker's the situation of the deadlock by the Banker's algorithm. So thank you. I hope you have learned here.